this is so annoying. This is the only formal part of the interview, I promise. But can you just say your name, your age, and where you're from?
The city or the country?
Let's just say
Okay. I'm Ben. I'm 32. I'm from Germany in Cologne.
Cologne. Okay. And is Cologne home?
It became my home very quickly, actually.
Okay.
Because I grew up in a part in Germany. It's there is city next to the next city. You're dropping from one city to the next one, and it was the old industrial heart of Germany with all the heavy industrial thing with steel, coal mining, and everything.
Okay.
So I grew up in a part of Germany where everything is mixed. Like I was in school with my first school in a class with children, 40% with immigration background and stuff, and also poor people living there. So it's a social, very mixed field I grew up in, but I grew up in a very in a family with no problems and stuff, and so everything. But I saw the other side from life also, so it was very mixed. So I'm very happy that I grew up there. I learned a lot, and I think that makes many parts of my character how I am, that I grew up there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I saw this whole city, or this whole mix of cities where I grew up and where I studied and everything, more like too much from the bright side and not actually see that there's also many problems and that you are not evolving that much in this whole thing you're in there.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Cologne, I realized, oh fuck, there are cities where you can really do way more stuff and you can express yourself in many other different things, and the people all around you are young and they inspire you, and you see people that are doing cool shit and then you're also doing this cool shit. So this is more of the energy that's going on in Cologne. That I was missing in all the places where I grew up.
What can you tell me a little bit more about like how where you grew up shaped who you are?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up in an area where not everybody is rich there. Many poor people are there, so you really see real life and not living in your bubble all the time. Like now in Cologne, I'm living in a bubble with my people around me and all the privileged people there. And there was not like this. And I also learned very, very early that the German guy in my class could be equally an asshole than the guy from Turkey. So there was never an option or a thing for me. So that's a character thing I learned from there. And the people there are very special. Everybody is really open but direct, and that's not common in Germany. For me, it was completely common, but when I grew up and then I got friends in some other place in Germany, I went there, and then the people were way more close there and like more stereotypically German. And in the part where I grew up, it's not the case.
So is it not stereotypically German because of all the diversity of class and like ethnicity?
Yeah, it is. The mix of cultures there, it's just so different to many other places in Germany. Like the big cities also, they have it. Berlin, Cologne has it also, Hamburg, all these cities. But especially in the south of Germany, you don't have stuff like this. It's more, they're more close and everything, and the people are there more also on the richer side and everything, so they have their own views and stuff, and all this mixture of, I mean, there's also bad sides to it. There were also more problems, I guess. When I went out partying, it was almost every night there was some fight somewhere, or you have to look out for troublemakers and stuff and everything. So there are different types of people living there, but that makes it more a place where you learn also stuff and get to navigate and learn to navigate in such environment. And now it sounds maybe a little bit hard. It wasn't that harsh or everything, but when I talk to somebody from my studies, they come from cities where they are don't have that mix of people living there. They sometimes open their eyes and they're like, what are you telling there? I never had stories like this, which stories are totally normal for me.
Yeah. So what was the name name of your hometown again?
Oberhausen, and in German it's called Ruhrgebiet, and it's just at one river, and all the cities are at that river, and it's when you're seeing these cities combined, it's the biggest combination of people in whole Germany, actually. So that's many people live there.
And so your family still lives there?
Yeah, my mother still lives there, my sister still lives there with her family, and my aunts, so they all live there.
Okay, gotcha. And how old is your sister?
My sister is 35.
35, okay. Yeah. So was it, tell me about the transition moving to Cologne. What was that like?
I mean, then we have to step back a little bit. The decision to move to Cologne came because I was in a bad state at that time in my life. My father died of cancer. My girlfriend left me, and that sounds hard now. It was a combination of things. She didn't left me because my father died, but because of other reasons. And my flat I lived in, everybody was moving out. So I had essentially nothing at that point, or felt like I had nothing at that point. So I made the decision, or I had to make the decision to change something, because otherwise I just dropped into a big hole. And then there was the option either going traveling, what I'm doing now, or I tried to find a job, and I just saw it by coincidence, the job in Cologne. I wrote an application and it took me, and that's actually then the whole reasoning behind moving to Cologne, and that made me land up there, and I'm very happy that it happened.
What was the job?
I worked in a startup. We made tree plantings in Germany at first. And I was the 5th person there, so a very young startup. I just dropped in there. And at the beginning, I did everything there. Like, it was mayhem, actually. Nobody actually knows what to do, and we just went for it. But it worked out, and we wrote in software after this to help companies with the reporting they have to do in the whole sustainability area. And we grew. And after 2 years, we were over 40 people. But then the next thing happened. I had the feeling it's enough and I need to go, because some things in a company didn't work out, like promises weren't kept and stuff. So it all adds up to a point where I then said I'm not doing it anymore, and then I left.
How long ago was that? How long ago did you take the job at the...
How long I had the job?
How old were you when you took the job?
I was 30.
30, okay. Yeah. And so you've lived in Cologne for 3 years now?
For 2.5 years now.
2.5 years, okay. And you said that it's become your home. Why did it become your home?
Cologne is similar to the place I grew up, with the people there who are also very open and kind. And all the young people I met there, because, or the people my age, it's hard to describe in Germany, or the people who live in Cologne all saying it's just the feeling you have in Cologne. And I think you only get it when you live in Cologne. It's really hard to describe, and the city is actually ugly. It's not a nice city to live in from an optical viewpoint. But the people who live there, the energy in there makes it a very livable place, and it catches you in some way. And I don't know if you heard about the Carnival in Germany. There, where everybody is getting dressed and stuff, and costumes and everything. And Cologne is one of the biggest cities with this happening. And the people are a little bit crazy there. Okay. So that makes it very livable.
So then why did you start traveling?
Good question. Because I think it was time to go traveling. Because I'm 32 now, I don't see me as old, but I always had the feeling that I wasted my 20s a little bit, or didn't do the stuff other people do in their 20s. I just fell from one thing and another thing, but never really took responsibility for the things I've done. I just did stuff to do stuff. And yeah, and then I had some remorse that I didn't go traveling in my 20s. And when I started a job, I thought, now you're 30, now it's too late to do this stuff. And I thought I lost the chance, or I missed the chance to really go traveling. And then everything adds up with the job, and that I wasn't happy anymore and everything. And then it was more like a decision, okay, then I'm quitting my job and do it now.
I feel like a lot of people like can be unhappy in a situation and like they'll jump to another job or like they'll do something or like to your point. So it sounds like you had some regret about not traveling in your 20s, but like what were you like seeking from travel that would help fill that void?
The experience in general, and also the growth I hope I get out of this. Getting out of your normal life, put yourself in new situations, learn about yourself. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it is the truth. You are growing when you're traveling. And I'm realizing this. And I mean, I'm away 2.5 months now. It feels like a year. And I did so many things and I learned so many stuff about me that I was just good. Also, that was the feeling in my job. Like the weeks just flew by. It was Monday and then it was Friday again. And then it was Monday again and it was Friday again. In between, I went partying because I had the feeling I had to compensate the whole week in one party. Then I was hungover and I was like in a wheel of, that actually was healthy. And I didn't grow in any way and I was stuck. So that's the way to break out, I guess.
I mean, you say it's a cliche, but like, it's, to your point, it's true. Like, I feel like I've done a lot of these interviews now and stuff, and like, even just talking, like, that's why everyone's traveling. Like, we're all, like, trying to grow in some way, and it's like seeking out new experiences, and like, cliches are cliche because they're true.
Yeah, I know.
That's why
I also don't see cliches as a bad thing because they are there for a reason. And that's how I see them. And I'm happy that, I mean, I have my ups and downs and some really bad downs where I really sometimes thought, okay, I'm going home because I don't know what I'm doing here actually. But I think this is the old parts in me that fight back to try to stay there. Because, I mean, you always want to feel good with yourself and then change always means you have to go to something. But, yeah, that's where I am right now, and it's just an up and down, and I try to manage everything, or not manage anything, but just let it happen. That's more the case, actually. Not managing anything, just let it happen. Yeah.
What is something that you feel like you've grown from so far? Like, does anything stick out to you?
What do you mean?
Like any lesson that you feel like you've learned? Like you're on this trip to grow. Like I'm sure that you have a lot more that you're still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But have you learned anything about yourself so far?
Yeah, of course. I learned that I need to be more active in my life and take more decisions for myself. And I think I didn't took decisions for myself was because I actually don't know what I want all the time. And I don't know what I want why I don't know what I want is because I'm so emotionally detached from myself that I can't really listen to what I want. So, yeah, that's, I think that the biggest realization now is that I'm going to therapy when I'm back in Germany to work up the stuff with the death of my father, with some other stuff in my life. And I had the thought many times, but more like to ease myself, I guess. But now really the will is there to do it because I realized if I'm going back to Germany without trying to work on it again, I'm falling into the old habits again really quickly. And then I will end up in a situation where I don't want to be in. And that's like getting more and more detached from myself and don't appreciate stuff and don't appreciate people around me. I mean, I just also realized what great people I have back home, and I didn't appreciate them enough. So that's all. I think that's the biggest step right now. Yeah.
What made you learn that? Like, what about your travels? Like,
I think the up and downs, because when I'm back home, I'm flatlining my life. I'm a very logical and rational person.
yeah.
And what that means is you're just fucking blocking out all the feelings and you flatline your life. But I realized it works in a society where we live in the West. It works quite well because you just have to function actually. And that's how it is. But here with all the up and downs, I mean, the parts or the times when I wanted to go back were the parts where I felt the most detached from myself, and I thought, oh no, it's why am I actually here when I'm not even realizing that I'm here? And then I realized, fuck, this state of mind is actually your normal state of mind when you're back home. So I just wasting time at home, and that's not a thing I want to continue.
What do you think? Like, so much longer are you traveling for?
For 3.5 months, I would travel. Maybe a month longer, I don't know.
Okay, so TBD.
Yeah.
Because you don't have an end date in mind necessarily.
No, that's why I quit the job. I mean, when I went to them, I said I want to leave. They said, of course, we can get more money, we can figure that out, we can work that out and stuff. But I was like, no, I want an open end, nothing to go back to. And that's the reason why I have an open end.
So why did you, where have you traveled to so far? So you're in Vietnam now, where were you before this?
Indonesia, 2 months.
Okay. And do you know where you're going after this?
I'm stuck here right now. I mean, the big thing I want to do is going to Vietnam,
Okay.
buying a motorcycle and driving from south to north and north to south and resell it there again.
Okay.
That's the big thing I want to do. But all other stuff, maybe Philippines afterwards, I don't know. I will see.
What caused you to want to come here? Like, why Thailand? Why Indonesia? Why Thailand? Why Vietnam?
Again, it's more like when I planned this travel, I planned exactly the flight to Bali and 2 nights there. That was everything. Because I always said to me, oh yeah, because I just go in with the flow, but actually it's just because I can't plan.
Yeah.
So I just let all the things happen all the time. Meeting new people, and then they have some good ideas or nice things to do, and I join them or not join them. So that's how I plan myself. It's not more like the next plan with Vietnam. I just have the thought in my mind that I want to do it to buy a motorcycle, drive there, nothing else. So
It's winging it.
yeah, I can't plan, but it works out for me. I always land in a place like this in here, and I also had many opportunities that I only could take because I haven't planned anything. So I'm very grateful for this.
So it's interesting because you're talking about like there was a certain period of your life where sounds like you want to take ownership of your actions, and that caused a lot of other things to spiral into like flatline.
Yeah.
And now that same type of winging it is creating a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're talking about when you go back, you do have in mind a date that like you appreciate your family and your friends, and you go back, but you're planning like I need to go to therapy to like figure out this stuff. So like, how do you balance that type of like seems like part of your personality that you really like of like going with the flow, winging it. Like not planning can be a strength sometimes.
Yeah.
But also sounds like part of what you want to change is planning. So like, what's that like?
Yeah, that's really good observation actually, because I also realized that I'm seeking stability in my life actually. So I'm seeing this traveling now to really just let myself go, but in a way that not just let it happen and just let the time decide. So just let it go, but still try to listen to me what I really want, and take the opportunities that come with it. But at home, I want to try to work on to get a certain kind of stability in my life. And I had stability, but it was not stability for me. It was stability for that I can function there, but not really for me. So, and that's the thing. I still have to figure out how to combine that stuff in my head. But
yeah, but you're figuring it out. That's part of the trip. Is
I
to,
think
like,
so.
to go with, so you're being purposeful about like how you're when you're taking the opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just in my head just changed what I, and it also again a cliche, what I want from my life, and that life is more about seeing opportunities and taking them, but also not just try to hunt down opportunities in some way, I guess. And but I think that's why everybody has the same, or almost, or this cliche exists of that when you're traveling you grow because you have time for this. And in my normal life, I haven't had time for this. I worked the whole week, and on the weekends I went partying, and that's it. So where's the time for my head to really try to catch up to stuff? And even if I had time, you watch some TV stuff, shows, even in the shower, always podcasts and stuff. Your brain just gets overwhelmed with stuff from the outside. You never have the time really to think about anything, and there can't be any change in it.
Yeah. Have you learned anything that you really like about yourself?
Yeah, I learned that I also find, happiness is the wrong word, but I don't have another one, that I find happiness in being nice, because where I grew up, like I said, it was more like, I was never big, I was never that strong, so my only weapon was my brain all the time. So how I managed to get my fun out of things and stuff was more like a mental warfare, I would say, to some people. And what comes with it is like, I still like it. With my boys from back home, we shit on ourselves all the time, and it's funny and I like it. But I learned that that's the language we use to share that we like each other. But for many other people, it's not the case. But I always replied, yeah, it's their problem when they don't get it. But it actually isn't. But I just learned that I haven't learned anything else. And now being nice to people and not being skeptical all the time over other people. That they're just nice people around. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the people that you've met and like what that's been like to make that change in your personality.
Well, I mean, I think it's the common ground we are in. When you're traveling, you have a common thing you are doing, and especially in Germany, the society is very close. Like I said, when you're going out on the street and you just smile at someone, nobody's smiling back. They're all looking at you like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And it's also a thing, not only the people I met, like especially in Indonesia, the people that live there, when you smile at them, they give you a genuine smile back. And that is what changed so many things in my head. And just, I don't know, when I walked into the cities and had so many interactions with them, like they don't know you, and they give you just a cup of tea and you sit with them, and they can't speak English, but they have a little child that's in school and learning English, and then they try to communicate with you over the child and stuff, and all these situations that we are very stuck in our Western society in a certain type of living situation, and that we are actually not a common society anymore. Everybody, it feels more like everybody is more an enemy than actually someone who is living a similar life to you. And so everybody's focusing back at home at a few people. I mean, that's cool, having friends and stuff, but there you can be more open, everything. But here on Travels, you meet someone, and then you just talk with the person and having a good time with no bad intentions behind it in some way. And that's the thing I learned here.
Yeah, that's it is beautiful, isn't it? That it's like everyone's kind of like, no one's in their home. No one's at home.
Right.
So like everyone's trying to figure it out at the same time, and and that could be a difficult thing to like see at first when you first start traveling. It's like no one's comfortable.
No.
But then at some point you reach a point of comfort with other people because you're all uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, when I was in Indonesia, I walked up a volcano, Rinjani, and it was very tough to do. 3 days walking up the volcano.
Wow.
And everybody, I mean, we're actually two separated groups at the beginning, and we all were strangers at the beginning. But then over the 3 days, the two groups just decided to go together, I guess. And because we went all through the shit, and sometimes it was real shit, everything hurts. You need to go 3 more hours up the hill and everything. And everybody was just supporting each other in some way. And when we were at the top then, everybody just had, I guess, the same feeling at the same time. And that's, I think rarely happens in our normal society, that everybody's on the same level at one point, at one moment.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, belong to a group, I guess, and that's the thing. Also with the stability thing that I'm missing in my normal life right now, because everything is so. I mean, I have friends and friends back home, and good friends and just friends. And with the just friends, sometimes it feels a little bit set up, everything. Not that you have your stuff you're doing together, like partying together, but behind that, it's really hard. Then not intentional. Yeah, I think that's the thing that really will me annoy the most on my travels. To meeting nice new people, and then you have to leave them behind again. But what it changed in my head is, I mean, I try to see it now how it is. You can't change it. You can't just. I did it in Indonesia for a time. I changed my plans to follow other people because we didn't want to split up. But that also made me unhappy because I was like, actually, I don't want to be here right now. So it's a mixture of this. But what it does with me is now I appreciate way more my good friends back home, because now I know that I can find stability in them. And here I don't try to find stability. It's more, like I said, the ups and downs, and I try to accept these ups and downs. And I mean, it could be something like now, it's raining for 2 days, and it makes me overthink everything again right now. If I'm going to stay on Koh Tao, if I'm going to leave. Just the call with one of my friends back home, she lived with me for over a year, made me again, it's like, oh, maybe I'm only 2.5 months in and I want to do 3.5 more. Maybe I'm going early back home. So it really changed all the time.
Changes constantly. What is do you have like a favorite memory that sticks out to you from like traveling around?
Favorite memory? Actually, the first day when I rode a scooter in Indonesia, because it was, I just love it to ride these things now, and it was that the first time that I really felt free on my travels, because then you have the scooter and you can just go wherever you want, and you don't have to follow a schedule like this is planned and you have to be there, then you've been picked up and everything. You just fucking go wherever you want. And that was like a really nice. Well, it's a really nice memory.
Do you have like you feel like you have that freedom when you go back to flow?
I don't know. I really don't know. I try not to think too much about what it will be like in Cologne, because I really don't know. I really don't know how it will be. I mean, one of my ex-work colleagues just texted me that he's in a job and he could bring me also in there. And now this is something I now have to consider and stuff. But yeah, I just don't want to spoil my arrival in Germany already.
Yeah, by overthinking it.
Yeah.
Something that I was talking about with someone else is like things that you want and how do you implement them back.
Yeah.
Like you talked a little bit about that recently, like therapy will help, like to like walk through that, and like that's something I implement back. But like sounds like this being intentional is also something that you're gonna take back.
Yeah.
So anything like on a day to day, it doesn't have to be like the job, it doesn't have to be your friends, but like on a day to day, is there any way that like, because like to your point, it can be really easy to go back somewhere and just like fall back into habits, like your environment. I think it's been like studies show that like people just adapt to their environment, whatever they're in, you know, like, and so it can be easy. Is there any like thought you've given to like on a day-to-day basis, like how do you be more intentional about being intentional about your relationships and being grateful about things like that?
Being more aware, keeping being aware. It's the thing I want to really carry over, because that's the base for everything. If you're not aware about your situation or yourself, then you lose.
Be more aware.
To being aware that I have to be aware. It sounds stupid, but it is like it is. It's. I think it's. Maybe at some point it's going to be a normal thing, but I think I have to remind me all the time to be aware, and that's redundant stuff I have to do then all the time, and to really keep it up. Yeah, being aware that I have to be aware.
Yeah. Can I give you a little tip?
Yeah.
Something. This is just something because like I've struggled with this too. Something that my therapist taught me that helped was like she was like try and be present. So it's advice that people actually they give people if you have panic attacks.
Oh, yeah.
But like it's like you count 5 things that you can see, you count 4 things that you can feel, you count 3 things that you can feel, you count 2 things you can smell, and then you say 1 thing that you like about yourself, and it just makes you more present and aware. It makes you like plant your feet, like, and I've just found that like sometimes it just like, or like, cause like sometimes it's like you don't know what you need to be aware of, right?
Yeah.
It's like so hard to like figure it out, but like it's I don't know. It helped me.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it could help you.
Yeah, it sounds good because just to bring your focus to your situation at that point. Yeah.
Do you think like we've talked a lot about like your home, like what you're doing and everything. What do you think it is about like traveling and visiting different cultures that make us all start to think like this?
Because we getting out of our bubble that we are living in, and we see how life can be different. I mean, the first thing that struck me in Indonesia was the traffic, because it's chaos at the first sight. But then you learn that it's organized chaos. And I actually loved riding a scooter there because you're just weaving through traffic and everything works. Everybody's beeping, but they're just beeping because they're saying, hello, I'm here. And then you pass the car and stuff. And then I realized that in Germany we have so many rules and so many things that has to be like they are. And if you just do them a little bit differently, then it's already shit. And that with all of our standard we are living in. I mean, I appreciate going back there. But this standard that we are living in also comes with a high cost. High cost that I think that our lives are limited in a different way, that we are not free or anything, but we are still engulfed in all of this that really forces us to, live in this construct. And I think when you go to different countries, you see different kinds of people who live differently. And I think in these countries, especially white travelers, you see different opportunities in life, how they are making money, how they are doing their lives. And in our society, it's more like, you're doing your stuff, and then in your 20s, when you're free and have the privilege to do it, you go traveling, but then that's it. So, and then you have to find your way in this. You think you have a big path, but actually it's a quite narrow path that you can really walk in if you want to keep a certain standard of life, actually.
How do you think you'll like take those lessons like back, like to your point, people like me, like do you think your friends back home like want to I think what you're talking about is empathy. Like you learn to have empathy for like people that are like really different than you.
Yeah.
Like do you think that's gonna be hard when you go back home to like communicate to your friends? Do you think your friends are pretty understanding of what that looks like?
I think I can do it because back home they weren't the problem. Or, I say no problem. It was more me that I couldn't open up and I couldn't show the empathy and stuff. When I'm going back to them, and now I have the feeling that I can do it, they will be open for this and everything. What I more fear is that, like the old habit stuff, and I don't want to get grumpy again. Because that's such a German thing, like the traffic example. Somebody does something what he's not supposed to do in traffic, and everybody honks, and then they are blowing off like I don't know what happens. And here everybody's way more relaxed, things work out, and nobody is that angry to each other. In Germany, everybody's angry to each other, and it's actually crazy.
It's so funny to hear you talk like to hear this side of like how you perceive yourself in back in Cologne, because I don't know you all that well, but my perception of you, what I've seen, I would have been like, he's the most chill, happy guy, like just like, and like so it's so like I love that you're like that you notice that and you want to take that back, because like I literally, we were at the Jungle Wave the other night, and I feel what you were doing. You were doing something, and I like told Kelsey, I was like, Ben is such like a chill person, and it's just it's the aura that you put out when you're traveling right now. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's true. And then also like about the question of like you're a DJ.
Yep.
And like you appreciate DJs and like the wave culture, and like it's something that I also really appreciate.
Yeah.
And I just like, I'm curious, like, could you talk a little bit about being a DJ? Like, how's that play in your life? Because that also doesn't blend with like what you're telling me about what you're.
I think that's also the thing why I got stuck in the techno scene. The raves are completely detached from our society. The people there go there to party. They're all friendly there. They're all not. They're open to each other. I mean, when you're going, you know that. I mean, you walking through the dance floor, you not hit someone, but you get in touch with someone, and the person turns around and says, "Oh, sorry," you know. And on other parties, it's just when the people are drunk, and I don't know, the vibe's completely different. So that always intrigued me about the techno scene. It's just the people, and that you can just in the outside areas, you just sit next to someone and talk, and that's now I see similarities to traveling, like everybody's just open to talk and to invite someone in their lives for a small time period, and that's the thing with DJing. Then I did it more when I was in in university because I had more time then. And I think then the thing what really is what kicks me off with DJing is when you're DJing and when you're playing, you are playing the music that you like, and then people partying to it. So that's a very nice feeling to do it, and yeah, that's
to give that gift of
Yeah,
music
yeah,
to people.
yeah, yeah.
I always say I love that you say it's like detached from society, but it also like is a part of society since there's so many people that are like there.
Yeah, but a certain type of people are there, not the whole society. And I think the people that are going on raves have also kind of a common ground they are standing on in how to treat people or I really can't actually pinpoint what it is, but it's people who are going on a rave are a certain type of people that you are not finding on any other parties like this.
Yeah, that's like the certain type of people that you find walking at banks are certain type of people.
Yeah.
Some people going to raves are certain type
Yeah.
of people, but like it is like a pulse on society. I feel like it's interesting that you're dividing the two because like I think it's like if abused, that community can be a bad community.
Oh, of course. This community has a fucking dark side to it, and I mean that's the thing. You can really get sucked in very easily, and I'm happy that I managed all of this not to getting sucked into. I mean, the drug scene. Then, of course, it's one of the. When you're going on raves, you are going to get in contact with this stuff. There's no way around it, and I mean, you still have the free will to not do it, but most of the people are doing it there. And that also, this is the thing I was actually afraid of a little bit because I never had a really bad time in that sense. I always managed to really get through this and always had my roots that I followed and never really overdo something. But still, when there are bad times in your life, then it's easy to find peace in this solution. So, and then when you're in a circle of friends that are also into this, then there's a spiral going on that really can drag you down in some way.
Yeah. But you've managed to.
Yeah, and I think I always get a reality check when I'm on a party. And the person who is drugged the most is one of a person who their age is like, I mean, everybody can rave. And it's nice when they're older people raving. I always find that very nice. But when you are like the oldest person on dance floor and also the most drugged one, then you did something wrong in your life. And I look at them always with a pity because you can see they are stuck in their head at some age and they try to keep this alive and keep this, I'm still young enough for this and everything. So they don't age well, I guess. So, but I'm also at the point, I mean, when I told you, working and then I went raving. But I realized after I quit my job, I stayed 2 months in Cologne to get the summer there. And I thought, okay, now I have free time. I'm going raving in the middle of the week, stuff, blah, blah, blah. In 2 months, I went 2 times to a party. Because I realized it was most of the time compensation stuff I did there. And not really because I really want to go to the party. And I think that's also a very good development. Because now I know I still will love to party, but it's not the main thing in my head that I only live for. So the switch is good that I'm going through right now.
You talked about DJing, so you just talked about like partying a little bit, and you said that DJing is like partying is like one side of things.
Yeah.
DJing is another. I've never DJed, so I don't know. But like hearing you and Rowan talk about it, it's like you're playing music that you like, you're watching people party. You're like giving a gift to them.
Yeah.
Do you feel differently about DJing than you do about like going to raves?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a complete different thing. I mean, as a DJ, there is even more temptation to get down a hole where it's hard to get you out from. because there's a common thing with DJs that they get very depressed because you are traveling so much. I mean, the big DJs, not me. I'm so far away from this, but the big DJs, you are traveling from town to town, from country to country. And then for 2 hours, you are the main star, get all the attention. But when you have the next day a gig somewhere else, then you have to go back to the hotel. Then you're suddenly alone in your hotel and have to process all of this. So many of them are, yeah, that's a common thing. But for me, DJing is more like, I think it's a thing I can do really good, or I have a talent in, and that's the thing also for me. It's hard to say that because I never give me credit for stuff, but I learned it myself, and every time I play somewhere I get good feedback and stuff, and when I'm in the flow it just works, and that's actually a thing I don't have with any other stuff. So I try to get here a gig and play here because now I'm also thinking about putting more energy in DJing when I'm back home again. Because when I move to Cologne, it evaporates almost everything because the work took up so much time that I couldn't do it. But actually that's the thing I like to do, and I dropped it for something I don't like to do it that much, so yeah.
No, I can tell by the way you're talking about it right now, and the reason I asked that is I could see the light in your eyes when we were talking about it as well, too. Like, you're obviously passionate about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it must feel good to, like, be excited about something.
Yeah, it is, and I was too blind to see it, actually. And that's also a thing I now learned, because I was always like, oh, people find stuff they really like and are passionate about. And I already had that thing, but in my head I was like, it's hard to become a DJ, it's hard to make money with it. You have to do something else and stuff. So I think I just let it slip. But actually now, I think the biggest point was when we went to the jungle party, and I saw her DJing, and I just stood in front of the DJ and thought, shit, I want to be that right now. And I thought, yeah, and it's not that far away. It's just, I have to put effort in it, and it could happen. But yeah.
Maybe that's another thing you'll do when you go home.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What, we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
What haven't we talked about that you feel like you either want to look back on this trip and look back on, or you think is just like important to Venice?
No way! I hope, and I think I already did huge step in this direction. I learned that this journey for me, it's not to see special stuff. Like I want to see this temple or I want to see this and this. I realized I'm here for my growth and my stuff to change in my head. And I hope that when I'm back in Cologne, I can look back and really think, or re-look back and took so many stuff out of here that I can implement back home. That helps me then in my normal life then again.
Your life is changing big time.
It is. And I mean, I was always afraid of change. I tried to keep things like they are, and I messed up many things because of this. Because, just try to hold things in place doesn't make them stay in place, I guess. It only makes you just stand still. And all the change I went through, I think I'm rewiring my brain right now that change is a good thing. So
Change is a great thing.
Change is a great thing.
It's like a butterfly, right? It goes into the cocoon and then...
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
There's a meme I should show you, but it's like a full foam butterfly, and then it's a caterpillar.
Yeah.
And the caterpillar is looking at the butterfly, and the caterpillar asks the butterfly, "Is it gonna be okay?" and the butterfly goes, it's gonna be really fucking weird.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
meme.
but it is like this. Change is weird. It is weird. Like, I mean, I had these outbreaks, like especially then when it's going down with the emotions. Then I'm thinking, fuck. I flatlined my life so nicely. I don't had these ones, and now I got these ones, and it's shit. But everybody is searching a meaning in something, or many people ask themselves, what's the meaning of life and stuff and everything. And I think and again, it's a journey, and to live this journey, it's the thing of life, I guess. And what I did back was not living the life. And then it's a waste, I guess. And, yeah.
Well, it's like, you said like the flat line, right? You're like flat line. There's something that I was just talking to Dean about. We were talking about how like you're flatlining. There's no data points. It's just like a line.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have the ups and downs. You're getting data points.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like I'm low. I don't like this. I don't like. Maybe it's a rainy day. I hate rainy days. I don't want to be like doing nothing on a rainy day. Data point. I'm miserable. Go up. Data point. I'm really happy when I do this. Data point. Stinks of shit. And it's just like, and then you start to see it, and eventually that becomes a trend.
Yeah.
But it's like, it takes a bit, and like the data points suck.
I mean, that's the thing I meant with, that I still don't know what I want and everything, because I don't have fucking data.
Yeah.
I don't have fucking data to take decisions on my own, and that was what I also said, is that I just fell from one thing to another thing, but there was nothing in it that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But how can I decide what I want to do when I don't fucking have data points?
Yeah.
So, but actually the data point thing resonate with my logical thing right now.
Yeah.
I can
The German
get it
in you is
The
like,
German is now, that I can get. That I can get,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Did I already ask you your favorite memory? Did I ask you that?
Yeah.
What was the favorite memory again?
I forgot it. No, the Rinjani stuff.
Oh,
going up there.
Okay, now. Okay. Okay.
I already forgot it.
I mean, there's so many, hopefully. You know, you still got a lot of travel ahead. That's
Yeah.
is there, I don't know. I feel like, okay, a couple like rapid fire questions. Okay. Like, do you have any, what piece of advice, if like your future self was to come back to you, what piece of advice would you want from them?
For my future self.
Mm-hmm.
Something like just let it happen, I guess. Yeah. Or it will work out. I think. That's the thing. It will work out. And and I mean, it works out all the time. And that's the thing with also when I decided to quit my job. So many people were like that. Oh, you're so brave doing this, and I couldn't do it, and everything. And I think that's the thing. They don't have that voice in their head that says it will work out. So then you're only fixated on being secure. I mean, that's also a thing how you can live. It's totally fine, but I think then you're missing many things when you only try to be secure all the time.
Yeah. You can't be secure all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, favorite food that you've eaten?
Favorite food that I've eaten? Oh God. I must say that, I mean, in Thailand it's better, but in Indonesia I was so sick of the food after 2 months. It was all the time the same. And I really have to say, I'm also here, when are giving me a treat, I'm going to get Western food. Like pizza or burger and stuff. It's hard to admit, because everyone's like, the Thai food is great and everything, but when I really want to treat myself, I'm getting a burger.
Where's your favorite cheeseburger in hotel?
Hippo burger.
Hippo? Okay, is that good?
Yeah. No, it's the best burger here. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't tried every burger, but that's a good burger.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you? So it sounds like you're missing cheeseburgers, but do you have a favorite German food that you're missing right now?
Oh yeah, currywurst pommes.
That's good.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. It's like the national, when you can say national or regional food. And what I loved about it's like the restaurants you organic. These are not restaurants. It's like little place you walk in, you order it and stuff. And these places are the reflection of the society of the people that are living there. There's a worker in his working outfit and the lawyer standing there and eating the same stuff.
I love that.
That's really good there.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have a favorite phrase from Germany?
A phrase from Germany.
It could be in. I hope it'll probably be in German.
Oh. We in Germany don't have that many. Oh, I'm not using something. I mean, I have two on my legs, I guess, that I'm using. I mean, the one says it doesn't get better, and the other says time will tell. So many people, especially the first one, they're saying, "Oh fuck, that's so pessimistic. What the hell?" But for me, it isn't. It's the active part. Like it doesn't get better, so do something with it. And the other one is the passive part. We encounter situations in our life where we don't have any power over. So the only thing that really shows what's going to happen is the time. And I guess that's again cliche, but how we talked about it, cliches are there for a reason. So they work quite good for me to keep the awareness up and just manage life a little bit better, I guess.
When did you get those?
After I did my pilgrimage. You know what a pilgrimage is? It's actually a religious thing that you walk through Spain to a certain cathedral in the east and the west. And I also did it. I walked 800 k's through Spain. And it was after the death of my father that I did this. So the whole situation with my father and then the part afterwards, I mean, this is the part I think is mostly represented through the time with my father, because there were so many situations. His illness was over 2.5 years, from diagnosis to his death. And there were so many situations in these 2.5 years where I just felt powerless and you can't do shit. And the only thing that gives you an answer to your question or whatever was the time. And the other thing is then that, I mean, I quit my job and I'm in such privileged situation that I can quit my job and just go traveling and not have to find immediately a new job to just keep me alive. So I think it would be a waste not to use this privilege. Yeah.
We didn't talk a lot about your dad, but it sounds like he meant a lot to you.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as a kid, my sister and me, we were everything for my father. And then there comes the phase where getting detached from your father, especially I think as a boy, because you're not being 100% him and he is seeing stuff you maybe don't like. And we never had a bad time together or were really in a fight or didn't like us. But I think we had a hard time to accept each other. And we were on the way to find to another again. And that's the thing I really, that's shit, because now he isn't there anymore. And I really feel like we got robbed of that time or that opportunity to really find to each other again. And he really learns who I am, and I can learn more him, because after I moved out and stuff, that all the process started with, he doesn't see me all the day and don't see every time the small things I do different than he does. So we were on a good path to find each other again. Yeah, but there's no opportunity for this anymore.
Well, are you a spiritual person? Are you spiritual?
Spiritual? No, but I start to understand people who are spiritual because they find meaning in it, and that's again the rational, logical part of me that always told me, oh, everything is coincidence, everything is just random, blah 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 blah. And I still think that actually it is random, but I get spiritual people or people that believe in faith or something, because then you attach meaning to things that happen in your life, and I think actually that's a good thing.
There's this documentary that keeps coming up in my conversations. This is like a weird thing. It's on Netflix. It's called Blue Zones.
Blue Zones.
And it's a guy who goes around and talks to each city where people have lived the longest.
Oh shit.
And he finds commonalities between each of the areas. And one of the things he finds is some sort of faith. It doesn't have to be religious, but like believing in something, like something bigger than just humans, actually helps people live longer.
Yeah, I guess so. Because then you have something also to live for. Because that's the thing I said. When I said I'm afraid when I'm going back and I'm going to my old habits, then I'm becoming the person I don't want to be. That I meant that I'm becoming a person that has no meaning in life and no purpose in life, and just sits down his time. So yeah, I totally agree that you have to. I know that like I said, for my father, family was first, and he and my mother also. They both just made our childhood like almost without any bad things or anything. So yeah, I would like to thank him for that. Yeah.
I'm sure he knows too.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're really grateful for right now?
Yeah, to just have the privilege to be here. I'm now stuck here for over 2 weeks now at this place, and but I can, and that's the great thing about it. I mean, 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the time I totally took vacation in the whole 2 years when I worked in a startup. So and I just staying here for 2 weeks at that one place, what I did in 2 years before, and it's crazy.
So crazy. That's quite a turnaround.
Yeah, that's a turnaround. Yeah, it is. No, I think we tried some things. I'm just happy that I did it now here.
You are?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah.
Okay. I really appreciate you telling your story. It's really unique and like interesting.
Yeah.
You're a very special person, so I appreciate you sharing it with us.
But again, that wouldn't have. When we did this back home, before my travels, the story would be completely. Of course, it would be different, but also the part when it would be more like a collection of rational data points I'm giving to you to draw out my life.
Yeah.
That would be it, and nothing more.
Well, it's crazy too, because if you think about it, if you were to look back on this in 5 years, you may be like, I'm curious if you would be like, oh my god, I'm the same person, or oh my god, no, I'm so different. Isn't that interesting? You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to provide with this, I'm very happy, because I think it's going to be a nice experience to watch it in 2 years.
I think it will be too. It'll be great. Well, thank you so much for doing
No,
it.
thank you.
Appreciate it. This is amazing. I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it.